Deadly triple shooting earlier today on the east side. One woman was killed. Two other victims were injured at an apartment complex.
They killed my baby. I'm going live, y'all.
They got mad because she was whooping them. I don't care what nobody say. Karma go come back to them.
All I kept hearing my daughter saying is, "Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry." I'm sorry was the last thing my baby said to me.
Just before 4:30 p.m. on February 6, officers with the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department responded to the Hawthorne Apartments on Indy's east side in the 5200 block of East 32nd Street for reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they would locate several individuals suffering from what appeared to be gun. County Coroner's Office identified the victim as 18-year-old Lashelle Hewlett, who was taken to a local hospital where she sadly passed away after succumbing to a gunshot wound to the chest, with a bullet piercing her heart. There were two other victims, Lashelle's boyfriend, who remains in critical condition, and her mother, who has since been released from the hospital after being struck in the hand and grazed on her chest. Detectives immediately began canvassing the area for evidence and additional information. Although there has been little information released to the public by law enforcement, a video posted to Facebook by Lashelle's aunt alluded to the fact that she was shot over telling a 5-year-old boy who was in the area to stop cursing. Soon afterwards, Lashelle and an adult female began fighting, with Lashelle having the upper hand. Subsequently, the female would leave the scene, then return with multiple people who all jumped Lashelle, with her once again holding her own. In retaliation, she was shot and killed by one of the aggressors at the scene. It was during the fight that Lashelle's mother and boyfriend were injured, as the two attempted to intervene. Lashelle's aunt and mother then go on to describe how previously there were multiple attempts to jump Lashelle by these same individuals, and every single time she would win. Her mother would even recall a time when Lashelle herself fought and won against 4 adults.
Balloon release tonight, 6:30. Anybody want to come?
Hawthorne Apartment.
Hawthorne.
They took my baby's life over fucking words. They took her life over some. She told a 5-year-old to quit cussing. All because she told the little boy to cuss. I lived for her. Everything I've ever done in my life, as long as she's been on this earth, I did it for her. If my baby just up and left me, my baby.
She didn't up and leave you. She got tooken. Let's be clear.
They took my baby away from me. They took the baby.
I mean, what make it so bad? What make it so bad? It was a child game. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck?
Because they tried, like I said before, they tried to jump my daughter. And everybody that was out here was not letting that shit go. They was not letting it go.
They mad because she got the best of their ass. That's what it is. That's what it is. They mad because Shusha was tearing their ass up. That's what that is. She was tearing their ass up and they got mad. They got mad because Shusha was tearing their ass up. That's what that is. Most definitely what it is. Like Shusha always did. Any fight she got into, she tore their ass up.
To the point where when
tore all their ass up.
Shusha was 14 years old when she got jumped by 4 grown adults. Shusha didn't come back with not one mark on her. And the very next day, we had Family Dollar. Some lady stopped me and was like, "Is this your sister?" I said, "No, this is my daughter." She sat there and said, "Baby, you got a beast on your hands." When those 4 grown people tried to jump your baby, she held it down. She did not one time hit the ground. Not one time.
I cannot stop crying. What the fuck? All right, y'all, I'm about to go. But, balloon release. Balloon release. 6:30. I want y'all to come on out here and support my niece and her mom on this occasion day. Oh my God.
For reasons unknown, the balloon release was subsequently canceled. However, Lashelle's mother, along with family, took to the news to share their grief over the entire incident, pleading for swift justice and for those who have information to come forward.
My baby is gone.
Michelle Diggs holds a photo of her 18-year-old daughter, Lashelle Hewlett. Lashelle was shot and killed Tuesday afternoon about 4:15 right outside the family's apartment.
They took my baby's life over words.
Mom says an argument escalated into a fight.
I don't have my child anymore.
Diggs says someone not involved in the fight pulled up in a car, jumped out, fired shots, and took off. Diggs says she was trying to break up the fight. She was shot in the hand. Another bullet grazed her chest. She says her daughter was shot in the heart.
All I kept hearing my daughter saying is, "Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry. Mommy, I'm sorry." I'm sorry was the last thing my baby said to me.
Diggs says that Lashelle's boyfriend jumped in front of the gunfire to try to protect Lashelle. He was hit in the groin. We don't have an update on his condition. Diggs says she was trying to move out of the Hawthorne apartments.
I promised her we was going to be out of here before my 38th birthday. And my birthday is in May. I wanted her to...
Mom can't keep that promise now.
How the hell am I supposed to live without her? She was the reason for me living.
Lashelle was a senior at Crispus Attucks High School.
As of right now, there have been no arrests in the case, and no leads have been announced by IMPD. Law enforcement, along with family and friends, are encouraging anyone with information to come forward. The case remains ongoing.
Hopefully, we'll be able to update you as this continues. I'll entertain questions at this time.
We've seen multiple homicides here in at least the last year. What is your message to the people who live here?
The message should be that our agency will continue to partner with this community. Our agency will do everything that we can to make not only this particular neighborhood safe, but anybody in the Circle City. This is certainly heartbreaking to this community, our officers. We'll continuously do everything that we can. We've made a significant number of homicide arrests. We were able to do that based off the community's tips and help. However, it's so important before we even get to this point that folks understand. You've heard me say this tons and tons of times about conflict resolution, figuring it out, not doing so by picking up a firearm or hurting someone. The message is to those who are responsible for this, it's so important that you, number one, turn yourself in, but we're going to do everything that we can to take you into custody. Everything we can. There's multiple resources from our homicide investigators, our CJIC detectives. We're doing everything that we can to hold these individuals responsible. I'd like to make note that our chaplain's office, they've responded, as well as our victims assistance unit. They are working with these particular family members, trying to bring some calm to them. Obviously, you can imagine what they're going through, so it's certainly disheartening. Again, we'll be out here for some time trying to piece together exactly what occurred.
We saw a couple of people detained, or at least going away in officer cars. Do you have a suspect at this time, or anybody detained?
No suspect in custody. Obviously, to my understanding, there was some type of disturbance that occurred prior to officers arriving. As you can imagine, the type of scene whenever you have 3 people shot, there are lots of moving parts, and so not necessarily that they're in custody, but they may be detained until officers can figure out who's who and what's what. Whenever we have a case, a complex case like this, we want to make sure that we cover every base to make sure that as an agency we don't miss anything, because we want to bring justice to these families who have to particularly deal with this.
This is an apartment complex that has seen its fair share of violence. Do IMPD officers plan to patrol this?
Absolutely. Our community relations officers, as well as our beat officers, will continue to not monitor or not overly police, but we want to partner with this particular complex. I know our East District commander will do everything that he can to provide resources, not just from a police standpoint, but we want to make sure, we want to understand why these things are happening, why these acts of violence may be happening in this particular area. And I know that he'll do everything that he can. I'll have a call with him shortly. I know he'll do everything that he can in his power to make sure that we do everything that we can as an agency.
Do we have any updates on the other 2 victims or conditions right now?
Right now, to my understanding, they're in, I believe, both in serious condition.
Well, I know sometimes there can be challenges with witness cooperation. Right now, are your officers having any of those issues right now, or people sort of talking and sharing any information that they've seen gathered before?
Haven't made it that far yet, but witness cooperation is always key. As you know, the city has spent a significant number of resources towards interrupters. We spent a significant number of resources towards technology, whether that be license plate readers or cameras throughout the city. However, nothing beats the cooperation from the community. You heard me say this earlier, that we've made a significant number of arrests based off community tips. We have to have the cooperation from the community in order to make those arrests. But again, before this even happens, where we have someone to pick up a firearm and hurt somebody, we want to get the message across that, hey, you're going to be held accountable and responsible if you choose to do these things.
Do you have more information on the nature of the shooting? Was it a drive-by?
Preliminary information suggests shots fired. I hadn't heard anything about a drive-by shooting. For whatever reason, these individuals or individual picked up a firearm and hurt someone. That's our main priority right now, is to bring comfort to the family and to make sure that we hold these individuals accountable and responsible.
And then the shooting, was it inside one of these buildings or out here?
So my information that I received from homicide investigators, that the shooting did occur outside. As you can tell behind me, that there's multiple shell casings. Again, it's a complex, somewhat of a larger scene, and so we'll be out here processing the scene with our Marion County Crime Lab. The Marion County Coroner's Office will be working with us to identify the victim in this particular shooting that unfortunately passed away.
Were they related at all?
That will come out as the investigation continues. Our Deputy Chief of Investigations, he's out here trying to assist, making sure that we do everything correct whenever we have a case of this sort.